Good morning, fellow Malaysians. This is Matthias Chang from Future Fast Forward once again. Honeymoon is over. The election is over. It's time to get down to hard work, buckle up, pull out socks, and more importantly, because the country is a state of mess, we must have no illusion that there are many mountains to climb, oceans to swim, before we reach a haven of stability and tranquility. But today, because of the recent issues of the appointment of AG and the way the economy is managed, I will first address the controversy on the recommendation by the Prime Minister of Mr. Tommy Thomas, a senior lawyer, to be the Attorney General, and thereafter various controversy. Now, normally I would agree that the Attorney General shall be chosen by the Prime Minister, recommended to the Argonne, and that's it, in normal times. But today, we are not living in normal times. There are pending serious prosecution proceedings against the former Prime Minister, key accomplices within the 1MDB criminal cabal and syndicate, as well as some leading personalities of the Pakatan Harapan government who have been prosecuted for criminal activities, yet to be proven. But those cases are in process. So the selection of an Attorney General under those circumstances where criminal action will be sought against the former Prime Minister and other people involved in money laundering on one hand, and some leaders of Pakatan Harapan who are being prosecuted for alleged offences. I will appeal to all Malaysians throughout the country, please be not emotional. Wear the thinking cap and let's sit back and examine each and every factor before we jump head on without any experience or recollection as to how important it is to have the right AG in position. But before going on to the issue of AG appointment, let me say to the whole country, did not Pakatan Harapan, its manifesto and all the election campaign speech says they demand and expect transparency, good governance, independence of the judiciary and the Attorney General. And that when they are in power, they want to ensure good governance, transparency, right, and independence of key institutions. Given my preceding remarks of pending prosecution on both sides of the political equation where key leaders are involved, may I therefore suggest to you that please, let's not talk cock and bull as to what is required of the qualifications to be an AG. First myth, a person aspiring to be AG need not be an expertise in all areas of law. Okay? Please, cut that rubbish out. Cut that rubbish out. You need to be an expertise in all areas of law, be it international law, constitutional law, civil law, criminal law, and what have you. Okay? The Attorney General's Chambers is a huge agency, have many specialist divisions or departments: international law, domestic law, trade law, criminal law, civil law, and what have you. There are various teams, okay, with the requisite expertise. It doesn't mean that to be AG, he must first and foremost be an excellent constitutional lawyer or an intellectual lawyer. All right? Because the AG can fall back on expertise within the chambers, as well as able to recruit expertise, even foreign expertise. So let me, before proceeding further, right, repeat it. We can recruit expertise within AG chambers and outside chambers, including foreign expertise. To come to the chase, to the point, very simple. And the two major disputes with Singapore on the water agreement, when I was involved when I was the Political Secretary to the Prime Minister, and the Pulau Batu Puteh litigation in the ICJ with Singapore. Guess what? The Malaysian government, when Tun Mahathir was the Prime Minister on the water issue, and when Patla and Najib took over on the Pulau Batu Puteh issue, guess who was appointed to lead the team against Singapore? None other than the QC, Sir Elihu Lauterpacht, the founder of the Center for International Law at Cambridge University. And I said to be corrected, we paid a whopping £500,000 for that leadership. Because there was a specialized expertise. Though the then Attorney General, Tan Sri Patel, Ghani Patel, was involved. On the other side of the debate, of the litigation, the Singapore team was led by none other than her own Chief Justice, assisted by a well-known professor in international law, all right, Ian Brownlee, my lecturer when I was studying law in the Inns of Courts. Insofar as domestic law is concerned, again, all right, the Chambers is more than equipped to assist the Attorney General. So to emphasize a particular aspect of expertise, and therefore that person or he or her is qualified, is barking up the wrong tree. Now, more importantly, because as I said of the surrounding circumstances that will impinge and impact on prosecution proceedings already commenced, investigation and otherwise, let's be very slow and not rush to the appointment of the AG. And I feel that the rush and the hysteria and the emotions has done a grave injustice whenever you think of the present acting AG. When the Prime Minister in his infinite wisdom chose to ask the AG, Tan Sri Apandi, to go on leave, he said publicly he has appointed the present Solicitor General as the acting AG. So that person exists. Alright? Don't treat the person as non-existent. He has a duty to perform. Alright? Has anybody sought her views? Or whatever? See, the way you people go about, I feel disgusted. Okay? Because the way the appointment is carried out, right, it shows utter disrespect, fellow respect to a fellow legal officer. The present acting AG, who's also the Solicitor General. Now, therefore, I believe to resolve this controversy, and I hope the Prime Minister will take this advice. This issue of the appointment of AG is too controversial to be taken lightly. And I would therefore recommend, and there are more than 18,000 lawyers who are qualified, one to another, present judges on the various benches, High Court, Court of Appeal, Federal Court, and also retired judges who are more than qualified. Okay, so I'm not giving my preference to anyone, but suffice to say, my recommendation to the Prime Minister and his Pakatan Harapan colleagues in the government, pause, and may all the eligible candidates who aspire to be AG be interviewed by an independent body. Why I say that? Because the Bar Council and all the people in Pakatan Harapan used to whack and say that the judiciary must be reformed. Notwithstanding, the Constitution allows the Prime Minister to advise the King what judges to be appointed, CJ, President Court of Appeal, or Chief Justice High Court, and other judges. They said no! Notwithstanding the Constitutional provision, there must be a commission, Judicial Appointments Commission, the judges side. Those who aspire to be judges go before that commission, interviewed, and their names are there, submitted to the Prime Minister for onward transmission to Agong for his blessing. There is no provision in the Constitution for such a commission, but towards fairness, transparency, and independence of the judiciary, a commission was set up. And the members are, I believe, the Chief Justice and also a representative of the Bar Council and what have you. So what is it wrong to ensure transparency? Pakatan Harapan, you demand that. Independence of AG. May all those aspire go for interview. Before, for example, the Council of Eminent Persons, right? Even Robert Kwok says, trust them. The members of the council, they're more than qualified, all right? They can go through all the CVs of each and every aspiring candidate. And to be fair to the name nominated by the Prime Minister, supported wholeheartedly by the cabinet, Tommy Thomas has even agreed before the election that maybe it's a good idea that in order to be transparent, independent, and not seen to be a slavish barking dog of the Pakatan Harapan, each aspiring AG ought to be interviewed. And may Allah's guidance be showered upon those who are interviewing the candidates to choose and recommend, for the purpose of this present circumstances and situation in our country, to the Prime Minister to recommend to the Agong. An alternative forum will be the Conference of Rulers to interview aspiring candidates. Nothing wrong with that. We are living in exceptional circumstances, therefore requires exceptional solutions. Why should anybody object to an interview either by the Council of Eminent Persons or the Conference of Rulers? Because both bodies will have the independence, all right, to decide properly and fairly and have interest of the country at heart. Why would anyone object to either this forum to interview an aspiring candidate for AG? Unless they have evidence that both the Council of Eminent Persons or the Conference of Rulers are a bunch of idiots, biased, and can't think. Because even at the Conference of Rulers, each sultan has a lawyer in the person of the State Legal Counsel advisor, as advisor, all right? And the acting AG will advise the Agong. They're not deciding in a vacuum. Likewise, the Council of Eminent Persons can invite a past federal court judge or judges or other eminent legal person in academy, right, in the universities, wherever, to advise them who are not interested to be AG. See, so simple. Why the rush to push and push and push one name? Now, I'm surprised. I read an article by Sarah Report saying that some of the criticisms or some of the opinion expressed in social media is incorrect. It's a whispering campaign. Where is the whispering campaign? We are living in a world of freedom of speech, which you have guaranteed. So do not discount criticism or opinions by social media for or against the present process. Okay? Let's not be, right, so self-righteous that whatever we do is right and must be accepted. My God, the Pakatan Harapan seems to be very powerful. Our candidate, under the circumstances, must be accepted by AGOM. Okay? I will have no wish to involve in the controversy. But I'm asking all of you, don't be hurt. How much do you know about criminal law, civil law, constitutional law, to make rash judgment as to who is or is not fit to be AG. I am therefore heartened that in a past conversation, Tommy Thompson himself has acceded to my thought and my thinking that an interview of aspiring candidates will ensure the best person for that job. Now, why am I saying so important? Recently, certain people involved in a task force and a committee or whatever on one MDB says it will take a long time to investigate because the case is very complex. May I say this to all of you, fellow countrymen, we have been with it long enough. The bulk of the work, hard work, the gathering of evidence, the tracing of the money flows and accounts has already been done by DOJ and FBI. USA, Switzerland Attorney General, and other jurisdictions. And in Singapore, they have already convicted key bankers of Swiss Bank, BSI, and Franklin Bank. And those small little crooks, accomplices of Jolo and what have you, have pleaded guilty, and the statement to the court shows very clearly how the money came. All over the world, first from Malaysia, the Pedro Saudi and Jolo's account, then went round and round and came back to Malaysia into the private account of the former Prime Minister. There are already convictions, there are already statements, there are already evidence. So, my question is this: why have not the low-hanging fruits be prosecuted? Jolo. Why was no request from the IGP for an international warrant of arrest? I was surprised. In April, before the election, my former client, Dr. Karim Abu Hassan, was allowed to travel overseas, to further pursue criminal proceedings. And I'm still banned from traveling. Yet it was the IGP that requested Interpol to issue a warrant of arrest for Claire Brown of Sun Report. When I went with my client, Dr. Karim Abu Hassan, to Lyon's headquarters of Interpol, they say they cannot accept or entertain personal interaction with Interpol. Requests for warrant of arrest or investigation must come from the police force of that country, member country, the head of police. So why has not this government or the Prime Minister direct IGP to request Interpol for a written notice to have a warrant of arrest for Zhou Lo? Notwithstanding that the president of Interpol is a former deputy head of security of China. I'm not saying it's biased, but they request first. Alright? So I'm asking why? Alright? Then Zhou Lo will be arrested. He can't hide. His job has been compounded in Bali. So why still lose? When I'm banned from traveling, my lawyer has written to, since 2017, right? The Home Minister to head of immigration, written letters for me to travel. And my foreign advisors, legal advisors, right? Even if your name is not blacklisted in the website of immigration, it's too dangerous for you to travel because they can switch it back and say you're blacklisted, right? And I can be charged for evading a restrictive order and go to prison again. And we've been asking, no reply. Even with this new government, no reply. Why? So, things are not as plain and simple as it is. And my letters to the Home Minister then, Zaid Hamidi, and Deputy Minister of Home Affairs, and the Pengarah Immigration, and now to the present Home Minister and the Pengarah Immigration, I forwarded to the Prime Minister of Malaysia recently. And I'm waiting. Because I've been advised by foreign experts, do not travel. Do not take notice of what has been listed in the website as gospel truth. Because recently, there was a blacklist against the former Prime Minister, right? On, off, on again. Why should I take the risk? See, again, something is not, something strange is happening on the 1MDB investigation. Alright? There's so much evidence. If the former Attorney General, Tan Sri Ali Patel, already prepared a charge against the Prime Minister, former Prime Minister, on the SRC money deposited in his account. What more? 3 years of hard work and evidence, and we want to go through the whole process again, committee after committee. You know, in England, there's a joke, you know, within the TV series, right? Yes, Prime Minister and yes, Minister. There was a remark in that shows, if you want to delay things, if you want to prolong things, set up committees to deliberate, and then nothing happens. You even say Casey Tan cannot be charged, Jasmine Lu cannot be charged, and other people within the former CEO Aru Kanda, who lied, campaigned for 1MDB and tried to sue Lim Guan Eng. Alright, and we then call him a liar. Alright? He is involved in cover-up. Bank Negara has issued a compound with the consent of AG Apandi, alright, under Section 253 of the Financial Services Act. Okay? And they paid a fine in May. Section 249 says, right, this is very important, let me read to you. Offences committed by any person acting in official capacity. 249.1. When offence is committed by a body corporate or unincorporated, a person A, who is its director, controller, officer or partner, or was purported to act in any capacity, or B, who is concerned in the management of its affairs, and at the time of the commission of the offence is deemed to have committed that offence unless the person proves that the offence was committed without his consent or connivance, and that he exercised such diligence to prevent the commission of offence as he ought to have exercised, having regard to the nature of his function in that capacity and to the circumstances. Subsection 2. an individual may be prosecuted for an offence under subsection 1, notwithstanding that the body corporate, 1 MDB, or unincorporated, has not been convicted of the offence, whether or not a prosecution has been initiated or a conviction has been obtained against the body corporate or incorporated. Okay, that means to say all the employees can be charged and whacked regardless of the liability of the company, 1 MDB. Section 250. So why no prosecution? Where a person is liable under this act to a penalty for any act, omission, neglect, or default, such person shall be liable to the same penalty for the act, omission, neglect, or default of his employee. So employee commits offence, employer, the board of directors, Najib, shall be also liable to the same penalty for the act, omission, neglect, or default of the employee, director, controller, or agent if the act, omission, neglect, or default was committed by A, his employee in the course of his employee's employment, B, his director in carrying out the function of a director, C, his controller in carrying out the function of a controller, his agent when acting on his behalf. And 253 says, because BM Negara cannot prosecute, but with the consent of the AG, a fine can be imposed. And a fine was imposed on 1 MDB when Arukanda was a CEO. He was appointed CEO on January 2015. Alright? The compound was issued in April 2016. Payable by May 2016. And on the 25th May, alright, 1 MDB paid the fine. So under section 249, 250, all the underlings can be charged and prosecuted separately, even though 1 MDB has paid the fine. So what are we waiting for? Bank Negara has shown the way. Apandi refused to prosecute. Now there's no Apandi. Why no further prosecution? Why this wayang kulit? Pakatan Harapan government. I've been saying this for last 3 years. Wake up and show you got the balls and the guts to implement what you campaign for in election. Don't think that's because I campaign against Najib, I will lose my vigilance. No way. Because during the campaign, there was only one slogan. We must unite at the lowest common denominator. Just get rid of this scumbag Najib. First and foremost, unite on that lowest denominator. That's what Tun Mahathir says, isn't it? When he's campaigning as the PM designate. Just get rid of the scumbag Najib, okay? Thereafter, we can do whatever we want to do. Have you not done that? We got rid of Najib. Alright? The issue of who's Prime Minister to me is irrelevant. There's post-election event. Even then, there was problems. Alright? So, please, Pakatan, Harapan, there's one issue that I will watch you like a hound dog. You deviate 1 inch and I come after you. And I challenge you to arrest me and charge me under SOSMA like a scumbag Najib. And let's see whether you really allow freedom of speech, a valid, cogent criticism from the Rakyat. Otherwise, I'll expose the hypocrisy. I'll take it on. Right? Because it's higher than anything else that the citizen needs. We are fighting for a cause, we are fighting for a principle, justice and truth. So don't strut like a peacock. Because, let me say to you, let's not kid ourselves, okay? That because you're a new government, you are free from corruption, You're so self-righteous. You're clean as a virgin. You're pure. Let me remind all of you, Malaysian citizens, there's a saying, isn't it? Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. I repeat that. Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. Right now, Pakatan Harapan don't have absolute power. So they cannot corrupt absolutely. But by this definition, power itself is corrupt. When you have power, you won't be corrupt. But more power you have, more corrupt you will be. So the demarcation, the benchmark is, if you seek power, you seek corruption. No two ways about it. But if you see the deliverance of the riot to you to be the government, and if your mindset guided by Allah and Allah's teaching, that when you are so elected, you have the responsibility, the duty to do good deeds, not the power. Alright? There's a difference between power and responsibility. But you chose so far, by your action, by the way you struck, you chose power. And this is reflected in many ways, right? In many organizations. Prior to the present government, when they had no power, they were chum and chum, and do everything. And be humble. Because they have no power. Alright? They're even willing to work as a team. But they have an agenda. Even little Napoleons have an agenda. Now that they have acquired power, these same Napoleons, little Napoleons, strut like a peacock, play games, bureaucratic games, corporate office games, and behave like numbskulls. In fact, they are worse than the previous government. You know why? The previous government says, right, cash is king. I'm corrupt. I don't care. I have money in my house, in my penthouse. I have luxury cars. I use airplanes. I have bubbles. They flaunt their wealth. But these little Napoleons and fat ass like the fat lady in various offices and organizations are now, oh my God, they arrogate themselves the power you don't have. Minions, ass lickers. You understand? They're all over the place. Like butterflies and vultures hovering over a potential dead meat. And they are what I call them, moles, spies, agent provocateurs, doing their damnest to destroy the dream of the riot. So to my fellow riots of Malaya, fellow citizens, don't have any illusion. When the call was made to get rid of Najib as the lowest common denominator and let the new government comes in, inexperienced, the choice was very simple. If you don't mind me saying so, and I'll say so now. Your choice was to vote in a lesser evil, a lesser power. But reality is, power corrupts. And absolute power corrupts absolutely. So, for heaven's sake now, honeymoon is over. Honeymoon is over. Election is over. Come back to reality. If I may use an analogy, in modern days now, all couples, they only make love before marriage. Honeymoon is maybe 1 day or 3 days or 1 week, Honeymoon don't last forever. When honeymoon is over, what happens? The wife and husband start quarreling. No more as romantic. I love you, you love me, as before when they're courting. So right now, honeymoon is over. Honeymoon started on May 10th, right, when the price was sworn. Now it's what? 4th June, enough time, honeymoon. Honeymoon doesn't last more than sometimes 3 days or 1 week. Unless you're filthy rich. Even then, honey goes beyond 1 month. So now, I'm asking all of you, stop it, stop it. Put on your glasses, binoculars or microscope, and examine every action, every word of the present government. Okay? Because the DNA of a politician never changes. It's relative. Whether they're power hungry, corrupt, or self-interest. Now let me start telling you why I've uttered contempt, for some of these politicians. When they were in opposition, member of parliament is a full-time job, am I right? You were elected. It's not free. They're paid a salary and allowances. Likewise, in Adun, it's paid a salary and allowances. It's a full-time job. But many of them are also lawyers, accountants, and what have you. Are you surprised they have not given you 1,000% of their time to you? But they got away with it, you see? Because you numbskull people, the rakyat, never demanded a high standard, high benchmark. Understand? Now let's see whether all the MPs in this new government, all the aduns in this new state governments, have resigned from a job, sold their shares in their companies, and be full-time MPs and adun. Otherwise, you have been conned, okay, by part-time MPs and aduns, okay. Now, another thing is, right, they say, I don't want to say this, Prime Minister in the future can have only 2 terms. 2 terms! And with these 2 terms, he must ensure a suitable successor. That is their condition. They demanded that. Okay? But now, most of the MPs in the Pakatan government are more than 2 terms. They were elected in when? 2008, 1 term. 2013, another term. Now they are into the 3rd term. Have they prepared anyone to succeed them in their constituency? No. But they impose a term, a condition, Prime Minister must have only 2 terms. But they have 3 terms. As if they are indispensable. Have they trained a successor? Nah. See, they don't like what I'm saying now. They don't like what I say now. No? Because last time I was whacking Najib and BN. And they think that now they have a honeymoon. Matthias will shut up. Yes, I shut up since the election. I watch and watch and see how power corrupts their mind and how victory has clouded their minds and deluded to themselves. They are so freaking pure. They are not. They are not. Let's see how the appointment of the Attorney General is carried out, and more importantly thereafter, how the Attorney General, be a he or a she, conduct the prosecution of anyone who has been prosecuted. I've been acquitted. You see, funny, I don't. Some Pakatan leaders bound over, no punishment, slap on the wrist. I've been acquitted. I've been acquitted of my client. Under so smart, under the penal code of sabotage. Yet age is appealing. To today, they withdraw the case against me and my client. Withdraw. On the day of the trial, we didn't ask them to withdraw. On the day of the trial, they withdraw the case. Tak ada evidence. Tapi dia minta withdrawal not amounting to acquittal. They withdraw the charge, everything. So the judge asked the AG Chamber's representative, why? How long will the sword be over the neck of the 2 accused? You withdraw, you don't give reasons. And you say, leave it to the discretion of the judge. And the judge acquit us, they're appealing. Can you see? Now ask a question. Why this animosity? This fear? This desperation? Come what may. Matthias Chang and his client apparently cannot be scot-free. But strangely enough, in April before the election, my client was able to travel. But I, having written so many letters officially, they must reply me, isn't it? I can't take the risk of just looking at the website on a Monday, buy my ticket and fly on Friday, and on Friday at the immigration, I'm blacklisted. I can't take that instead. Lawyers advise me, don't do that. You wrote an official letter to a law firm, have an official letter. And now we have a new government. New government! But the victors don't give a shit about my freedom. Okay, see? I'm not trying to be personal about my case. This is a microcosm of the shit that will evolve into big shit. Hopefully not into a cesspool. Last but not least, you will recall that in every speech I said we cannot win this battle, this war against evil, against the criminal cabal, unless we surrender to the will of Allah unconditionally and completely. And I have absolute faith that He will protect, defend, and guide us under all circumstances, all challenges, and evil. I am so painfully hurt and so disappointed. Since 9th May, or rather 10th May, early morning of 10th May, 4 o'clock in the morning, when we won, not one leader of the Pakatan Harapan, sad to say, has called for the whole country to thank God Almighty Allah. Of course, there were some small gatherings, right, by individuals, right, privately. I don't care whether you're a Hindu, a Buddhist, a Taoist, a Muslim or Christian. Should there be a call for national prayer? And all faiths gather together as one nation to thank the Almighty. Let's be humble, for heaven's sake. Don't you dare say that I am only one responsible for the victory. My party is the game changer. Alright? Hey, if the Rakyat excuse me, didn't vote you, you're nothing. Without God, nothing. The surah says that. And I've quoted the surahs. So I hope, after this address, the leadership of the Pakatan Harapan government will have the humility, the decency to call for national prayer, a gathering in Bukit Jalil Stadium, if need be. And I say to all of you, Najib's slogan was cash is king. Already we are no different. We are suffering. But at least GS is lifted. And we are told we have huge debts, so buckle the belt. Be strong. Yet, right? We say, before Raya, there will be brim. By another name. That is cash is money. Cash is king. The riot don't need to be spoon fed. Okay? Half the people who voted for Pakatan Harapan, okay, because BN, alright, correct I'm wrong, about 46% of the votes. So a large part of the voters, right, still believe brim. A large part didn't believe. Tell the truth. We can't afford to give you brim, even Hari Raya. Ramadan is a time of fasting, a testing by Allah on us of our devotion, our discipline, our faith. We don't have to be extravagant in celebrating Hari Raya because of the circumstances. Surely the happiness, the joyfulness to be united with Allah can be very, very subdued without any lavish extravagance. Why emulate the regime, Najib regime? Cash stashed in the house, luxurious vehicles in the car park, bubbles all over. If we are true to Allah, we will say to Allah, we thank you for the blessing which you have received by the victory of the election. We thank you for giving us the resilience, the discipline, the strength to overcome the coming years of hardship where we have to really save to pay off the debts. I can assure you, we don't need any donations. There's a PR exercise. By all means donate, but to me it's a purely PR exercise. Because if we govern correctly, and we go after tax evaders, the scumbag bastards who don't pay taxes, who hide their money, and scream murder when they are prosecuted for evasion. If every one of them pay, no problem. We pay the debts. If all the money siphoned away overseas by the cabal brought back, no problem. We pay the tax. If the Pakatan Harapan government is sincere, they will tell the people, give me a timeline. Bear with us. Be strong. Have faith in Allah. Tighten your belts for a short time. And we have victory in opening all the debts. Then we celebrate justly and wisely. But we do not count the chickens before the hatch and celebrate when the country is still suffering. Brim by any other name is still Brim. Cash is still king. Is that the way we're going to start in the first 100 days of this new government? So I'm giving you the benefit of doubt. I'll call you a government. In time to come, don't let me choose and transfer the name from government to regime. And you can be the regime as opposed to a government administration. The way you people behave, squabbling during the campaign for election, in the palace, and now the way you people are scrambling to be AG. You mean to say there's only one person only qualified? No other person? If Tommy Thomas, I must give him due credit, says he's prepared to be interviewed with any other person aspiring to be AG, why do we do that? He himself has told me that. Okay? If I lied on this statement, may Allah punish me. If anybody can prove that Tommy Thomas did not say that to me, I'll beg, borrow and steal 1 million ringgit to pay off. That's why I say, due credit must be given to Tommy Thomas. In fact, another truth, when Bar Council nominated Amiga Srinivasan to be the AG, alright, Tommy Thomas to be, I'm not just anymore, I'm not in the running, let her be the AG. Okay? So why all of a sudden, the somersault, the desperation? I don't think it's Tommy Thomas. Must be some other forces to ensure what? There's someone as AG who will answer to them and them alone. There's a perception, isn't it? I may be wrong, but people have told me this desperation shows that they want to control the AG, be it Tommy Thomas or any other person. Is that a guarantee for the independence of the Attorney General? Nah. Can you see how idiotic, how foolish you look, how delusional you look? Or talk, cock and bull. You're not walking the talk. I'm taking you on. Pakatan, I'm taking you on. Okay? I won't go any further. But once again, I ask all of you to surrender to the will of Allah completely, unconditionally. Have faith they will protect us. Just as they protect us, He protects us, right? From the Najib regime. Allah will protect us from any excess, rubbish from this government. And I told you many times, right? This one last opportunity that Allah gives to this country to sort out your mess, and they don't do it, the retribution from Allah is beyond imagination. Cleansing fire. Let's see what happens. With that, I thank you for your attention, and I bid you well. Thank you.